In this video, we'll talk about JavaScript variables. So variables are the containers for storing the data values. Each and every programming language have this concept. In JavaScript, we can declare the variable with three types, like with the var keyword, with the const keyword, and with the let keyword. In JavaScript, variables are case sensitive, and you can assign a value to a variable using a equal operator. So as I said, we can create the variable with three keywords, const, let, and var. We'll go and see how it works, and then we'll come back to this table for better understanding. So let's go to our VS Code. So now I'm in my VS Code. Previously, we created the index.html file and style.css. Now we're gonna create a new file that is called script.js. So we are creating a JavaScript file that the extension is .js. And now we want to include this JS file to our index.html. So to add that, within the body tag, call the script tag and give the source, that is the path to your file, that is script.js. So now your file is included in the index.html, and your index.html is already rendering on the browser. Just to make sure, I'll make working on variables, so it will print in our browser. Now you can see that. And just to confirm, in the script, I'll do, in JavaScript there is a way to print the messages in the browser console. Console is nothing, it's a panel given in the browser to print the messages. So if I call the method console.log, this method you're gonna use heavily, so remember it, how you print the messages in the browser console. I'll say testing, and to see this message in this particular window, right click, select inspect, click on the arrow wherever you'll see the console, select the console. Now you see it's printing testing. The console.log or console.error, console has many methods, but most commonly used are console.log and console.error, and right now we only talk about console.log. So with console.log, whatever you pass in between, it will get printed here. Okay, so we confirm our JavaScript is included in the index.html properly. So we use the script tag to include it. Now we'll start understanding our variables. So I'll remove this. The first one that we're gonna understand is the var keyword. So we are talking about var keyword here, and in var keyword, we said first point we need to remember is it can be updated and also can be redeclared. What it means, I'll explain you in a minute. So var keyword can be updated and can be redeclared. First we'll see how to declare a variable. So to declare a variable, write a var as a keyword, then your variable name. So you can say course as my variable name, and course name is 0 to hero, and just I'm assigning 0 to hero value to my variable course. And if I want to print this value of this variable, just call the variable name in the console and you see it's printing 0 to hero. So this is how you create a variable with the var keyword. Then I'm saying it can be updated and also can be redeclared. Well, first we'll see how it can be updated. So if I say course 0 to hero in LWC. So I declare a variable at line number 4 where course equals 0 to hero, but at line number 6 I'm updating the value. So in var keyword we can update the value of the variable, and it says we can also redeclare the variable. So it means if I redeclare, if I append the var keyword again with the same variable name, it's allowed in the var keyword. So if I print this again, it will next time it will print 0 to hero in LWC. See, first log printing 0 to hero, that is at line number 4, and the second one is printing 0 to hero in LWC. So this is var keyword in which you can update a value, you can redeclare a variable. Now var keyword support two types of scope. So two type of scopes are global scope and the function scope. It never support the block level scope. So var keyword support two type of scope, global and function, not block level scope. I'm just writing this text so that you can remember. Now we'll understand the scope. If I declare a variable with the var keyword, I'll remove this. So if I declare a variable with the var keyword and it's not inside a function or not inside any other scope, so it automatically bind to a window property. In JavaScript, everything points to a window, and window is an object. Behind the scene, it works like that. So just to see what is window, I'll say console.log and type window. It will print a window object. Everything in JavaScript is window. Alert, when we see the alert, it's a window. We see catch, we see close, confirm, and everything. So when you declare a variable and with the var keyword, it automatically assigned to a window object. So to confirm that, if I say window dot course, it will print the value of my variable 0 to hero. So it means where keyword is in the global scope. Second thing, it also work in the function scope. In JavaScript, we create a function with the function keyword. Then we'll define the function name. I'm taking the function name as ABC. And if I say create a variable where another course, and I'll say hero in LWC, so this variable will only work inside the function. So if I say console.log another course and I call this ABC, it prints hero to hero in LWC. And if I try to print this outside the function, it throws an error. Another course is not defined, because where keyword works either on the global scope or inside the function scope. If the variable is defined inside the function scope, you can access the value within the function only. This is what it means. In where keyword, we don't have block scope. So the block scope is any scope that start with curly bracket and end with the curly bracket. And the best example is if statement. If I say if 2 equal to 2, so it become true. And if I create a variable here where x equal to 10, and if I print x outside, it still print. I'll remove this one because it's throwing an error there. I'll comment it in JavaScript. You can comment in this way. So now you see at line number 20, it's printing 10. Even though it's in the block scope, but it's allowing me to print it outside, because where keyword never support block level scope. So where keyword only supports global scope as well as your function scope. In block level scope, it gets append to the window scope by default. So if you see, if I type window.x, it's print 10 because your x gets append to the window object. So these are the three types of scopes, and this is how where keyword works. Let's go to the another variable declaration, that is let keyword. And the let keyword help you to update the value to create a variable, but it cannot allow you to redeclare it. So let's see what it means to create a variable with the let keyword. I'll create the same variable course, let course equal to 0 to hero. So I create a variable course using let keyword. So if you create a variable with the let keyword, you can update the value like we did 0 to hero in LWC. You can update the value and you can print the updated value in the console.log. You can see now it's printing the updated value 0 to hero in LWC. But as in where keyword, you can redeclare the variable. In let keyword you can't do that. If I try to redeclare the same variable, it will throw an error and it says identifier course has already been declared, so it's not allowed in let keyword. The other thing, let keyword supports function level scope as well as block level scope. It never supports your window scope. So to prove that, what we're gonna do is, if course is created and if it's in the global scope, it should print in the window. So I'll say console.log window.course and it's printing undefined here because it's not in the global scope. So let keyword never supports global scope. It supports function scope. And to prove that, again we'll create quickly a function abc. We'll create a variable x. We'll say nickel. And if I print inside the block x and I call this function, it will print nickel. But the same variable, if I try to access outside, it will throw an error. It will say x is not defined because the scope of let variable is either inside the function block or in the block level. So block level again will say, will make the statement explicitly true. And if I declare the variable again here, I'll make it to y. If it prints y, I'll comment this one, it's throwing an error. And then outside the block level, if I try to call, I'll say Salesforce to this variable name and it throws an error, y is not defined. But as soon as I comment this within the block, you can access its value, Salesforce. So the difference here is it never supports global scope and you cannot redeclare the variable in let. You can update the value. It supports function and block level. In LWC, we never use a var keyword. We always use const and the let keyword. Okay, so these topics you need to understand properly. Then we'll move on to the third one, that is const keyword. And const keyword, it can be updated. It cannot be, actually we can't. And also cannot be redeclared. It can't be updated, it can't be redeclared. So let's see what it means. So I create a variable course again here with the const keyword and I'll say 0 to hero. Same, we'll go with the same process and I'll print it and it prints the value perfectly. But now if I try to update the value to LWC, it throws an error immediately because in const means constant. You can't change it once it's assigned. The other problem it has, that's not a problem, but that's a feature I would say, then you can't redeclare the same variable again. It will say identifier already been declared. So that is also not allowed in the const. The other thing, the scope wise, the const keyword works similar to the let keyword. So const keyword supports function and block level scope. So we'll see this quickly. So for the function scope, I'll again create a function abc. I'll create a variable x20 I'll print it console.x, and I'll call this function outside function ABC. It immediately print 20. But as soon as I'll try to access this variable outside the function, it throws an error. X is not defined because its scope is limited to function. If I create a variable outside, it will allow me to create a variable because that is in the different space or a different scope. So I'll say 30, and now you see it's in the different scope and it's printing the value 30 immediately in the console. Same thing happened with the if block. So if 1 equal to 1, and I'll copy paste the same thing. I'll make it to 30. So it will print 30, or I'll make it to 40 actually to look different. So now it's printing 40, and outside this, if I print it again, it will print 30 because this X comes in this particular scope. So if I make it Y to make it more clear to you guys, and now if I try to access Y is not declared or not defined. So this is how it works for const keyword. So now we have seen how three keywords are different from each other and what are their scopes. So now let's try to understand this tabular form. So global scope not supported by const keyword, not supported by let keyword, only supported by var keyword. Function scope supported by all three. Block scope only supported by const keyword and the let keyword, not by the var keyword. Block scope is the if statement that I saw. Then can be assigned. Const you can't reassign the value again. In let you can reassign, in var you can reassign. And for the short note, you can remember let variable can be updated but not redeclared, and the const in a const variable can neither be updated nor redeclared. So this is all about variables. There is a catch in the const declaration, but that we will discuss when we learn about arrays or the objects. So now we'll learn the next topic, that is data type. I'll see you in the next video.